What's going on, guys? It is Wrestling Today. We're back with another video. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a wrestler's worried about Jade Cargill. Is Stephanie vacating the WWE Women's Championship? A sad update for Kevin Owens? Mustafa Ali had a gruesome injury. An AEW star removed off the roster. 27-year-old veteran wrestler retires. Prayers out to Chris Bay, and much more. Our first story looks at whether wrestlers are worried about Jade Cargill. So, why hasn't Jade Cargill defended her WWE Women's Championship yet, even though she's held the title since November 1st, 2025? Well, there's some speculation swirling backstage in WWE. Recently, Fightful Select reporter Sean Ross Sapp commented on injuries sustained by Baby Mizan and Tiffany Stratton after their matches with Cargill. Tiffany, for instance, hasn't wrestled since her match with Cargill. Now, to be clear, it's not confirmed whether these injuries were caused by specific moves Jade performed or by any carelessness on her part. That information hasn't been made public, but the topic has definitely come up among the talent, and it's something they talk about in the locker room. The idea of the women's championship being held by someone who might accidentally injure other wrestlers has made some people uneasy. Even though there's no official confirmation that Cargill was blamed for these injuries, and there seems to be no direct heat on her, the pattern has got some wrestlers thinking about whether there's a connection. Sean Ross Sapp added, "I haven't heard of any specific heat from the office, producers, or anything like that, but the talent definitely noticed the trend, and it does come up in conversation in the locker room." This situation could also make fans and analysts revisit whether WWE rushed things by giving SmackDown's top women's championship to Jade Cargill, a wrestler who's had a rocky path in WWE since leaving AEW. You might remember the rumors suggesting that WWE officials were feeling a little buyer's remorse, questioning whether they had signed someone who wasn't quite as ready as they initially thought. There were even whispers that some officials tried to point the finger at AEW for not training Cargill properly before she arrived in WWE. Whatever the truth, the current Cargill championship crisis clearly needs attention. If Jay isn't ready to defend the title, then it might be time to take it off her. But if management believes she's ready to wrestle, then she needs to start defending the championship, because going without defenses risks turning her title run into a joke. Even Jordan Grace has called attention to the situation, saying that someone once told her just sit there and look pretty, and she refused to do that. As of now, 75 days have passed with 0 title defenses. WWE really needs to fix this situation sooner rather than later. Right now, Jade Cargill isn't even booked for Saturday night's main event, but that could all change next week. Next up is Stephanie vacating the Women's World Championship. And speaking of WWE Women's Championships, there's some concern about current Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. Could she be forced to give up the title because of an ankle injury she's been dealing with? For Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp addressed these worries. He explained, as of this past week, there's no plan for Stephanie to vacate the title. In fact, there are tentative creative plans for her next offense, setting up a storyline with Raquel Rodriguez, which we see on TV every week. Stephanie has been feuding with Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day, who has specifically targeted the champion's already injured ankle. Sapp reminded fans that Stephanie suffered an ankle sprain and needed a walking boot. While she's technically cleared for contact, wrestling with that kind of injury isn't ideal. Longtime WWE fans will remember that champions originally had to defend their titles every 30 days or risk being stripped of them. However, WWE's current approach with part-time champions, like Brock Lesnar and later Roman Reigns, has changed that. Now, there's often no storyline reason to remove a title from someone unless management believes the injured champion won't return soon, something fans saw with Seth Rollins. This is also why Dominic Mysterio has kept his title. Even while injured, some fans feel WWE should rethink how it handles injured champions, perhaps by introducing interim champions until the original title holder is ready to return. Next up, a sad update for Kevin Owens. So, when can we expect Kevin Owens to return to WWE after the next surgery he had last year? And the bigger question, will he even return at all? Fans are naturally curious since KO is such a favorite, but a new report from Fightful Select suggests WWE doesn't currently know when or if Owens will come back. The prize fighter announced before WrestleMania 41 that he needed time off because of a serious neck problem. And rumors quickly spread that his neck might be so damaged he could never wrestle again. While he did undergo neck surgery, Fightful noted that the procedure didn't happen until July of last year. Current understanding is that Owens is recovering slowly, and WWE officials are aware of that. As a result, there are reportedly no creative plans for him at this time. Given how serious his injury is, it makes sense that both Owens and WWE want to allow as much time as needed for a full recovery. Of course, there will always be skeptics, especially given WWE's history of being unclear about wrestlers' return schedules. But what about a shock return at the Royal Rumble? According to reports, that seems very unlikely. Next up, Mustafa Ali shows off a gruesome injury. TNA's Genesis pay-per-view was a hit, featuring 10 big matches, including a retirement bout. But even with all the excitement, TNA wrestler Mustafa Ali made it clear he didn't walk away completely unscathed after his victory over Elias. Ali shared a shocking photo of his big toe on Twitter. So nasty, in fact, that we're going to censor here because it's a little too gruesome for general viewing, and YouTube probably wouldn't allow it anyway. We're wishing Mustafa Ali a fast and full recovery from that nasty injury. Next up, Jim Ross and Devin Dudley's drama continues. Now, let's turn to the latest in the ongoing drama between Von Dudley and Jim Ross. For those who haven't been following, Von accused Ross of making racially offensive remarks years ago during the grand opening of a WWE restaurant. At the time, there were claims that Ross was allegedly intoxicated and couldn't even remember the conversation. Earlier this month, Jim Ross addressed the allegations on his Grillin' Jr. podcast, firmly denying them. He said, "I'm not a racist. I've never been a racist. Ask some of the African-American athletes I've worked with over my 50-year career. They'll agree and say the same thing." And as I mentioned before, when you first asked me about this, I don't remember the first crossword I ever had with Vaughn. I never got mad at him. I was just bewildered that this could even happen because I don't remember any negative exchanges with him. And what I was allegedly said would definitely be negative. Ross made it clear he never had a conflict with Vaughn and emphasized that this is a private matter. He also said he's open to speaking man-to-man with Vaughn if needed. Meanwhile, Ringside News reported that Duke Loves Wrestling host mentioned JR's team, including Maven and Conrad Thompson, had floated the idea of recording a sit-down conversation. Vaughn responded on the latest episode of the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, saying, "Two men can sit down and talk and iron this out without cameras. I'm not asking for a crowd. Not at all. There's no confirmation that Ross' team actually discussed a videotape sit-down, or if Ross himself approved it." Vaughn added, "Honestly, I'm not even really asking for JR to come sit down and talk. He doesn't have to. If he wants to, I'd be happy, but he doesn't have to. I'm not looking for YouTube subscribers or views or anything like that. The situation has attracted a lot of attention, but the question remains, should this matter stay private or should it be handled in public?" Next up, an AEW star moved off roster. Now, for the latest development, former AEW powerhouse Hobbs is officially done with the company. Wrestling News reports that Hobbs is no longer part of AEW following this week's episode of AEW Collision. Former TNT champion has also been removed from the active roster page on AEW's official website, signaling the end of his time with the promotion. While there's no confirmation that Hobbs is headed to WWE, it's widely known that the company has shown interest in him. Many fans are convinced it's only a matter of time before the big man makes his WWE debut. It also appears that Hobbs does not have a non-compete clause. However, even if he could sign immediately, WWE usually takes its time before debuting new talent. The promotion prefers to have a storyline or creative plan ready, so that a wrestler's first appearance fits smoothly into ongoing narratives. Next up, WWE locker room reaction to AEW signees. So, if Powerhouse Hobbs joins WWE, will he be welcomed in the locker room? Fightful Select reporter Sean Ross Sapp recently addressed this during a Q&A session. He said, "It's not quite the same as when former WWE wrestlers joined AEW back in 2021 and 2022. But back then, AEW talent were generally happy to have new people in the locker room. At the same time, many wanted to make sure their spots were secure, and for a lot of them, those spots weren't guaranteed. In recent years, Hobbs hasn't been the only AEW wrestler rumored to be heading to WWE. There's also been heavy speculation about Chris Jericho possibly returning to WWE. Some fans even talking about a potential Royal Rumble appearance." Next up, a 27-year-old veteran wrestler retires. Last night's TNA Genesis pay-per-view marked the end of an era as Johnny Dango Curtis, better known to WWE fans as Fandango, wrestled his final match, putting Eddie Edwards away for good. It's hard to believe, but Curtis has had a 27-year wrestling career, and it's finally come to a close. While Curtis did lose the match, he went out on his own terms, never tapping out, and was given a heartfelt send-off by the fans and his fellow TNA wrestlers. Inside the Ropes reported that following the bout, JDC was joined in the ring by his teammates Moose, Alicia Edwards, and Brian Myers. Curtis took his time in the ring, spending moments with the fans and saying goodbye to the crew, while the TNA locker room applauded him from the ramp. He gave one final bow to the audience before exiting the stage, followed by the rest of the locker room. We wish Johnny Dango Curtis all the best as he moves into this new chapter of his life. Next up, prayers out to Chris Bay. TNA wrestler Chris Bay recently opened up about the emotional challenges he's faced while recovering from a serious injury that has kept him out of action for over a year. Bay took to social media to share a heartfelt message about a moment of vulnerability he experienced. He wrote, "I cried yesterday. Let me explain. Last week, I went down to the dungeon too. Zero. I had an amazing time and witnessed some incredible things. I'm so grateful for the invite. Then, this week hit me hard. A bunch of my friends are signing with new promotions or doing exciting things in theirs. Friends are doing well in the indies. TNA moved over to AMC. Meanwhile, I'm still struggling just to get out of bed daily." He continued, "In the gym yesterday, in the middle of my workout, I just broke down. Tears flowed through my eyes like they hadn't in months. I couldn't help but think, where would I be if I didn't get hurt? Eventually, I wiped my eyes, picked up the dumbbells, did my next set, and finished my workout. It's okay to be transparent and vulnerable. It's okay to feel, but it's not okay to give up." Bay has previously shared that he feels much better than he did a year ago and remains hopeful for a return to the ring when his body is ready. Fans everywhere are rooting for him and hope that comeback comes soon. And finally, WWE auctioning off gross items. Finally, let's talk about just how far WWE will go to sell to its fans. Apparently, there's no limit. The company is now auctioning off the bloody shirt Cody Rhodes wore at last year's Elimination Chamber when John Cena shocked everyone by turning heel. The auction package includes Cody's bloodstained white t-shirt, his vest, and his tie. The current bid has already reached an eye-watering $30,000. For those on the fence about buying, WWE Shop's description reads, "This is your chance to own a piece of the suit worn by the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes during the emotionally charged Elimination Chamber 2025 event. On that night, John Cena earned the opportunity to challenge Cody at WrestleMania for the Undisputed Championship. The champ confronted Cena and emphatically declined The Rock's offer to become his champion. Cena then shocked the world by brutally punishing Cody, leaving him bleeding all over his shirt. This suit has become a symbol of the grit and determination that defines Cody Rhodes' career. Grab these items today and remember a historic event that saw Cena turn to the dark side. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind piece of wrestling history, and a pricey one at that.